G'day everyone, it's SDS SuperCoach, providing SuperCoach content for you. I'm here to present Jump On, Jump Off, Episode 1, Round 1, featuring Brad from SuperCoach Pro. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very nicely, mate. I'm stressing over my side, but that I guess we can discuss that a little bit in this video. But basically, this is going to be a new series where me and Brad talk over the most traded in and traded out players in our team, and also we'll discuss a few others that aren't on the screen right here. So basically, it's a pretty simple concept, but I guess we're going over all the relevant players. If you've got any players that you want answered, then leave it in the comments down below, and one of us will answer it. So I think we'll also alternate this series on each other's channel. So I think since I'm recording it, first week it will go on my channel, second week it will go on Brad's channel, etc., etc. So we'll do it each week if you're up for that, Brad.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Sounds good.
Lovely. All right, let's get straight into it then. All right, we'll start with most traded out. We'll go left to right. The most traded out player is Tom Stewart. Now, I don't think we have to speak much long on this, but is he a jump off, Brad?
He's a definite jump off. It's more of who's to jump on that you don't have.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Tom Stewart, he's out for 3 to 4 weeks with a medial ligament injury to his knee. He's a clear trade out. Stuff for you, Ed Sheeran. All right. Number 2, Liam Jones. Now, we still don't know the prognosis on him at this point in time, but it is a bit 50-50 on whether he plays round 1. Brad, are you jumping off? Do you have Liam Jones, by the way?
I do. I have him, Stewart, and I had Oued as captain. So I hate all three of these guys right now.
Are you jumping off Liam Jones if he gets picked still?
If he gets picked, I might try to loophole his score.
Yeah, I'm thinking a similar thing because I found a way to just trade out a crap rookie that I have in my side, and I can loop him and another rookie. So if he gets picked, I reckon we'll find out Thursday at 6:20. But I reckon if he gets picked, there is a case to be made that you hold on to him. Is there any reason you would jump off him even if he's just out for 1 week?
If you've got nothing to fix in your side and your team's pretty perfect, then yeah, you would just because everyone else is going to use boost anyway this week. You'd think.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people. I think that's going to be pretty popular. Button the trade boost. So yeah, I think even if he's out for a week, I think you just need to get points on the board. And I think there's a lot of people in bad situations. So if he opens up a lot better opportunity, I think you jump off. Number 3, again, another player that I don't think needs much discussing. Nat Fyfe, you're jumping off.
Oh yeah, I'll jump off in a heartbeat. I can't imagine anyone that started him.
Aren't you 100K rank, bro?
Yeah, I am. Thanks to Rory Laird as my captain this week. Gone, so.
Yeah, well, I own him, and yeah, he's definitely getting jumped off. The only reason you would talk yourself into keeping him is playing North Melbourne this week in Perth. He could score half all right. The ball should get down there a lot more compared to Ross Lyon's bloody defensive St Kilda. So that'd be the only reasoning to keep him. I'm still going to jump off regardless because there's a lot better of opportunities out there. And yeah, I just can't trust full forward. It was a terrible pick by me. So seems like we both agree to jump off. The next one, close to your heart, I'm sure, Brad, Jacob Hopper. Now, it's fair to say he didn't look that good against Carlton, but would you say you're jumping off this week on Jacob Hopper?
I probably would give him one more week. We play Adelaide. It was one of those games. It was just a shit game in general, so it was really hard to. I couldn't really even see him from where I was sitting in the Carlton cheer squad to actually give you a proper go at it. But I think Will Brodie did the same in his first week this time last year. He scored about like a 68, 69 or something like that, and then from there he went crazy. So I think with a midfielder that's proven he can go 90s, it's not like he went 30, 40, then I'd be concerning. But maybe the Richmond bias. But I'm definitely holding one more week. If he scores under 80. and you need a Warpedo or a Setterfield or some sort of pod at that price, then I'd go sideways, because then you're going to have an antipod that's doing a lot better than Hopper. But if he goes 90 plus, you just want to stay one more week and see what you can do. Even if my team was perfect, I'd hold off one more week.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I think it'd be too soon to jump off. I can understand the rationale to it, just due to how poor he looks. But he's going up against Adelaide. They leak points for fun inside that midfield. I'd certainly give him one more week. If he doesn't show up, then yeah, you've got blokes like Warple, you've got blokes like Horn Francis, you've got blokes like Setterfield, all these sort of options. So I'd keep Hopper for one more week. Now, last one is Rory Laird. Now, you captained him, so I think you'll be absolutely burnt by this bloke big time. But are you jumping off this week?
Nah, Richmond like leaks so many points in the midfield. It's ridiculous. In fact, I'm actually going to make him vice captain, because my St Kilda rookie is Whitell, I think his name is, and I can use that as my loophole. So Rory Laird is definitely a VCC option. And I'll just take another week. And I don't care if he drops 50K, because there's no point burning a trade for a premium to a premium. Unless he goes under 90 or something just crazy, and then maybe someone like an Oliver goes 160 and prices himself out for the next 4 weeks, then I might go sideways. But it'd have to be a premium at the same sort of price, or 100K cheaper, who's going to make heaps of money, and Laird goes negative 60, 70. So it'd have to be, really tactical. But I'm keeping him this week. Can't see why you wouldn't keep him, especially against Richmond. If you know what Richmond are like in midfields, it's ridiculous. And he'll probably have 140 this week easily. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I think you certainly give him one more week. I think for me, he's going to have to look really good to keep in my side. I'm still worried about how much money he would drop as a 700K bloke. If he does not look the same still, I'm jumping off immediately and going to maybe even a Cornelio, and then just go real mid-price madness. But yeah, I think he has to look good. I want a 120 plus from him this week, and I want him to look back to normal, usual Rory Laird. As long as Adelaide on Saturday isn't bloody 35-degree heat, I think there should be no excuses made for Laird. I hope he bounces back. He's just going to have to. He's going to have to reward the owners, and I'd hold on to him for one more week, see how he looks against Richmond. I'll be watching that Adelaide-Richmond game like a hawk. So we'll just have to see about that. Now, one more player traded out that's on Brad's list, but not my list. It's Tanner Bruin. I'm not actually sure what percentage he's being traded out, but if he's on Brad's list, then it's pretty highly owned. So highly owned percentage of him leaving a team. So what do you reckon, Brad? You're a Bruin owner. Are you sticking with him for one more week, or is he causing too much problems for you?
In my side, I have to get rid of Stuart Jones, and Bruin's the third one. So I think I will get rid of him. His time on ground is pretty low. It is a bit reactionary, because he's the typical preseason hype where he scores a couple of tons and then just doesn't get opportunity. We should have known this. Cats never give opportunity to young players. So the fact that he's not over 30 is probably the reason why he's not in the midfield. But I don't know. It's Chris Scott doing Chris Scott things every damn time. So I'm going to flick him, because he's probably the worst player. I'd rather keep Hopper over Bruin. Same with Laird, because I know at least those two probably score more than Bruin this weekend. But I think he is a jump off for sure, mate. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm a little bit torn. Yeah, the main issue for me not picking him, now obviously I didn't pick a better option than Bruin. I picked Nat bloody Fife. But my main issue with Bruin is that what if Parfitt doesn't get named in the team? Because that was the main issue for Bruin, because he got kicked out of that inside midfield because of Parfitt being on early. He might get some more inside midfield time if Parfitt doesn't get picked. What are your thoughts?
I'm still getting rid of him regardless. I think Parfitt probably stays in, because I don't know if the Conning gets up, Stewart doesn't get up, so I just can't see Parfitt getting dropped. I'm not a cat. Might have to ask Shorty SuperCoach.
Yeah, ask the great man himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm not a Bruin owner, so I don't really know what to say. I think it just depends on your situation now. Your situation, of course, is different to everyone else's. So if it works with your structure, you can trade him out. If you want to give him one more week, especially if Parfitt doesn't get named, then I totally understand it. So now we're going to move on to the most traded in players. Now, isn't this a massive talking point? I'll tell you what, I'm giving this bloke a massive thought here. Most traded in player, Jason Horne-Francis from Port Adelaide. Are you jumping on, Brad?
I'm jumping on. Yeah, I'm yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yep.
What do you think?
Oh, I'm so tempted. He's such a good player to watch. My one concern is it's his second year. I know he's pick one, but that does give me a little bit of concern, and also the surgery over the off season. Is he going to? I mean, I guess we don't need. I guess we're picking him. You might see him as a keeper. If he looks like he's going to make 150K, so that's the thing. If he's not a keeper, then you can just flick him. If you consider him a keeper, I'm just worried how he's going to last the season because of that surgery in the off season with his hamstring or no, the back of his knee or something. So he's got two massive scars on the back of his knees. So that does concern me a little bit. I think I'm leaning towards Horn Francis as my trade in. So I can understand coaches jumping on. He's playing inside midfield. I doubt Boak's actually going to affect him too much, to be honest. He seems like that fourth. He seems pretty locked in as that fourth bloke in the rotation at this point in time. I think Boak's going to play more off the half forward line by the sounds of it as Port Adelaide. And you can't take him out of the midfield now with this score. You've got to. He can't get moved out, surely, at this stage. So, yeah, I totally understand if anyone wants to jump on. I'm really considering it. I think there's still a little bit of risk involved, but I'm 81K. I can afford to take a little risk to see how we go. I'm sure Brad's in the same position. So, have you got any more on Horn Francis?
He's just gonna have to do plenty of ice baths. That's all.
Oh, what a story that was! My God. Um,
Oh.
the number two most traded in player. Do you have him, Brad? Do you have Sheasel?
Nah, I jumped off this pick. I just couldn't afford him, but he's a jump on purely based on his role. I think my only concern is if Aaron Hall comes back, he might take his position, and there's a few other halfback flankers they have. So I'm going to jump on anyway because he's a cash cow. But I'm just worried for future he might start scoring 60s. So if you're going to get him, I'd rather get him this week while he's still playing halfback flank role and keeping Aaron Hall out of the side. So, yeah, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely agree. I cannot watch another North Melbourne game without having this bloke in my side. That North Melbourne West Coast game was just torture. Seeing Harry Sheasel, I think I tuned in to the first 5 minutes and I see Sheasel running off the halfback, and I'm thinking, oh God, I stuck with Sam Flanders, and yeah, so I think Sheasel is an absolute trade in if you guys don't have him. Enjoy the fun while it lasts if he does get moved down to the forward line in the future. But the bloke the role he's playing, and he's playing for North Melbourne as well, so the ball's going to go down there a fair bit. He's taken kick-ins in his debut game. I just can't watch another game without having him. So I reckon he's an absolute must, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed. He took 3 kick-ins, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's very good for a first gamer. Now, number 3, Nick Dacos. He's probably another bloke that I'm probably going to look to bring in. Now, there's some massive talk over him being tagged. Would you jump on, Brad?
Controversy, no, I wouldn't jump on. No.
Okay, fair enough. I'm really considering him. I guess my thought is he's not going to get tagged every week. He's still going to have those massive scores. Like he's got Richmond round 3, where I don't think you blokes will tag him, to be honest. And I think he could run right that game. And Port said that they're going to tag him, but Willem Drew only tags inside, doesn't he? So they might give him a little bit of attention, but nothing to really put me off the pick. I mean, if they're playing Hawthorn this week, then I wouldn't jump on. But I think I'm going to jump on this week. It's between Dacos and Sicily, but I like the extra cash I have heading into round 3 correctional trades. So I think that's just my thought process. I think I'm going to jump on. Any final thoughts, Brad?
Well, if he's playing Richmond in round 3, I might actually consider that because he's going to go nuts. We don't
Yeah,
tag like he's saying. He could probably score 140 against us.
yeah, and I guess if we have to worry about a tag later in the season, we'll worry about it later in the season. I think this will be the cheapest he ever is throughout the season. There are some massive scores coming up early in the season, I think, and I just don't want to miss out on that. Now, this one is really surprising. Seeing this bloke, maybe he might have a different opinion, but I don't think he will. Dane Rampy, why is he here? Are you jumping on?
Nah, you got to be drunk to jump on. He jumps on goalposts for God's sake. He's not one you jump on. No, not at all. If anyone says in any of our comments, "What do you think of Rampy?" I will delete that sub. Can you do that?
Oh, mate, I'll take all the subs I can get. I'm not deleting any of them.
I don't think you can. I'm just taking the piss. But don't pick Rampy, please. Whatever you do, anyone.
Yeah, I definitely don't recommend Rampy. 330k. No, no, at that price, you're better off. There's so much better mid prices in the midfield, in the forward line, stuff like that. So, no, I wouldn't recommend Rampy at all. They'll just about be his highest ever score in Supercoach, I reckon,
Yeah,
for
literally.
sure.
Agreed.
And now the last one we need to talk about here. Well, there's another one after this. Is Luke Ryan. Now, I think he's pretty popular this week because he was the highest scorer of the week. But I think we saw a common trend in that St Kilda Fremantle game where Freo defenders were just chipping around to each other for fun. It was like going across the park and having a kick of footy with each other. Would you jump on, Brad?
Probably the best person to speak to this because I owned him for 3/4 of last year. He'd have a really high ceiling game, and then he'll score you 80s for about a month, and then you'll just about get off him, and then he'll score you another 120. That's probably his highest score of the year. So you're definitely what they call is points chasing. So
yeah,
I can't see him having that all the time because he's still got Young back there and a few other really good Freo players. I forget the other, they've just lost my mind. But I definitely think that one's where you're chasing points, and a lot of NPCs will grab them. But he would have been a good pod starting him, but I wouldn't jump on after a 170 and hope he's going to average 130 from here. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, I think it's very dangerous. Now, this might sound a bit hypocritical. It's a very dangerous chasing points, and I'm literally chasing a 136, 114, and 129 with my trade plans. But Luke Ryan, I mean, I just think it's a bit different. Unless you really think he's going to be a top 8, top 10 defender for this year, then jump on if you're confident. But I mean, there's a bloke who scored 140, Hayden Young. I think that's a bloke where you can save about 20k, and you're better off just going there if you want to go a Fremantle defender, personally. And then there's one more player that we need to talk about that's not in here. It's Connor McKenna. I'm very happy to have him on my side, but unfortunately for Brady, it seems like a bloke where, I mean, are you jumping on?
Probably jumping on maybe for Jones. So all mine depends on the Thursday night teams, but I couldn't afford him either. So all these players like I had that were decent, I just didn't have in the right side. So it's like I had him in variations, but not the right combination. And that's why I took out Witt's last minute as well. And Witt scores 140. And it was all because of actually Yo. Yo stuffed up 7 of my players, and about 4 of them shat the bed, and 3 of them worked really well. Like Settlefield and another random bloke. Who's the ex-Carlton player? Stocker worked out well for me in the back line. He's owned by 3%. So a few pods worked, but now I've got to use 6 correction trades to grab a player like McKenna, who I read too much in it. People saying, he'd be sub and this is where you can listen to too many people's opinions and not just back your preseason judgment. And he looked not so great in preseason, but this bloke hasn't played footy in so long. And we know how good he has been in previous years. So it's a definite jump on. So I only missed it, not because I'm stupid. Well, maybe because of that, because of his price is what I thought Wilmot could do the same output for the same price, but I'm clearly wrong 1 round in already. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I think if you have Jones and not McKenna, I think that's probably one of the easiest trades you'll do this season personally. Um, yeah, I'll jump on McKenna. I was sold when he was named halfback, not on the bench, when I was looking at the team sheet. So I think that really locked me in on that. Now we'll just quickly go over some other ones that might feature here since we've discussed them all. Sam Flanders, are you jumping off, Brad?
I'm going to give him one more week, but like I say, with all these players, if they're one of your worst, then yeah, may as well do correction changes to get your team ahead of the game. Because if you hold on to these trades early, you're playing catch up. It's such a hard season to play catch up on, and I'd rather get ahead now. Especially my rank's 100,000, so I'd rather move on players that are highly owned by other teams, so then I can actually grab a pod that actually scored better, and maybe I can even at least make money off them that way as well. So it's a two-way theory. If I'm going to grab someone at his price, I'm going to get someone that scored 140, maybe chase it in points, but in return make myself some cash and a pod. So I want it to be two reasons, not just, oh yeah, flicking him because he had one bad game. I'd actually go on KO, watch the game, see his role. I saw he had 19 touches and 2 goals. So sort of even look on the AFL website and see what they actually did, even CBAs and stuff like that. But I think he's one of the ones on chopping block, but I do want to give him one more week because it's not like he went, 30, 40, and it's more concerning for a Rory Laird owner and players like that. So your team's really dependent on what you do, and you got to go by worst case scenario. Who are your worst 3 for your price, and sort it out that way is how I'd work it out. Steve, what about yourself?
Yeah, I don't like the role at all for Flanders forward pocket. I'm going to need to see another week. I am really worried about this pick, a forward pocket player for the Gold Coast Suns, unless his role changes dramatically this week against Essendon. So I'll just hope for that. I'm really worried that if I don't get rid of him soon enough, I'll probably have to have a 30 or a 40 score at some point from this bloke. So, yeah, he's a massive concern for me. I've got 3 other more. I've got 3 other players that I need to worry about. Flanders is certainly a bloke that I'm certainly looking at this week closely, and hopefully the role changes. If not, he's very likely to be on the chopping block next week. And lastly, we got Campbell Chesser. Well, we've still got a couple of others, but Campbell Chesser, are you jumping off?
I'm not an owner, but I saw what he dished out, and I'd jump off. It's probably the quickest reaction I can give you. I just wouldn't bother. He's very sub-risk. And his time on ground's never really been great when he does get featured in practice games and stuff like that. So that was always a warning sign. So, yeah, I'd jump off him, mate.
Yeah, I'd like to as soon as I can. If Jones gets named, I'll probably get rid of Chesser, to be honest.
Yep.
I just think I saw him once all game against North Melbourne. I saw him once. He was playing a wing role. I legit saw him once take a mark and kicked it. I didn't see him for the rest of the game. So, yeah, he didn't even get subbed off. He's probably the one rookie that I'm like, yeah, he has to go if need be. So, yeah, I'd jump off Chesser if need be. We've got so many other rookies like this man, Cade Chandler, who scored a 93. Now, I think we'll keep this a little bit quick. We've only got 9 minutes left in the Zoom. So I guess nice and quickly, are you jumping on this? Are you jumping on Cade Chandler this week?
Yeah, I'd consider that one. I'd have to look into his job security a little bit more on who he's keeping out of the team. But if you've got like for example, like me, who's running Josh Bruce, yeah, I'd be very tempted. But rookie correction trades, you've got to really be sold on them. And Melbourne's depth is so big that it's a really 50-50. Unless you've got a really, really shit rookie that's got a really bad role and scored you 30, or let's say under 50, then I'll do it. But if the rookie scored you 60 or 70, I wouldn't be sidewaysing for 10, 20 points. I'd be sidewaysing for 50 or 40, you know what I mean?
Yeah, agree. I think Chandler. I want 1 more week's worth of data. Plus, I want to have a look at the team sheets because Melbourne did announce that they've got 4 big names coming back into the team this week. I think it's May, Salem. Who else? Fritsch. Fritsch could affect Chandler. So I want 1 more week's worth of data from him.
Yeah.
Right. Is there any other blokes that are going to show? There any other blokes that are going to show up here? I doubt it. I think that might be it, Brad.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we said, yeah, that's it. Leave in the leave in the comments down below any players that we missed, and we'll answer that question. Yeah, and let us know what you would like to see in this series for it to be better. It's the first episode, so we're obviously always looking to innovate and improve our content. So let us know in the comments down below on what else you'd like to see in this series. Thank you very much, Brad, for jumping on. Great, always great talking about SuperCoach with you, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on, and yeah, look forward to our series continuing on from here on out.
Yeah, for sure, mate. We'll do it on your channel next week. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.